want to report here. Now, we are now exited from, we've exited and are now on 114th and being told to continue to exit westward and being sort of escorted off the premises. I just want to report a massive NYPD presence here on 114th. I see at least one bus with a lot of lights here, maybe two. I can't tell from this vantage point. After all, the NYPD is keeping us quite far away from anything going on. And I can't tell how many officers from here. If anyone on the western side of 114th has a better vantage point, maybe they can speak to that. But I definitely
David, okay, it's my turn to interrupt now. David, I'm sorry. There are I don't know what division of police officers this is, but they have a ton of industrial tools, emergency services. They have sledgehammers. Oh, they are now disrupting the barricade. This is the admissions. Oh my God! They're pulling students from the entrance of the admissions office here at Hamilton Hall. It's throwing students. It's a bit of a yeah. Okay, I'm with Sawyer, so we're okay. We're throwing students. That's my report for now.
Does anyone look hurt? Can you tell if students are hurt?
No. Students, I'm sorry. It has a lot of discussion. They're going to go. I'm sorry. Why they're pushing it? It's aggressive.
Okay, so I'm going to keep you guys muted for now. Please text your updates just because the audio is a little bit hard to hear since it's so loud. But we are hearing that students are being pushed. I'm going to send it over to Ale for an update on Hamilton Hall.
Thanks, Macy. Sorry about that. Again, we'll text updates as we have them, but we have received video evidence of a police contraption currently on 116th in Amsterdam that has a ladder ramp-looking thing that police are using to square up right to the third floor of Hamilton. It is believed that they will start entering there. We have a source stationed at the corner of 116th and Amsterdam sending video evidence. I will continue to report as we see whether police make that their entry point as well.
And once again, we did have reports that there were sledgehammers at the front doors of Hamilton Hall. So it is not just the windows that they are entering through. They are also trying to disband the barricades at Hamilton Hall. Georgia, do you have an update? I see you're right by.
I'm sorry, this was up from before. David and I are just on 114th listening to what is going on. We can't move. We're basically on the corner of 114th. It's really
Okay, Sawyer.
It's really unclear.
Sawyer, I see you're.
I'm just going to let it go over to people who are on the scene right now.
Yeah, Sawyer, I see you're close by. Can you give us an update if possible?
Yeah, they just, the SWAT, the NYPD team that were at the College Walk entrance to Hamilton Hall has just entered through the doors. We can't tell where they're going now, but there's a bit of a commotion and they have entered the doors.
Okay, just to confirm that police have entered the front doors of Hamilton Hall. Once again, they had sledgehammers, riot gear. So that is very important. And I'm going to hand it over to Teddy really quick.
I was able to receive video from someone who has a vantage point from Hartley looking onto Hamilton. SWAT has completely cleared out all protesters from the front of Hamilton. I want to repeat, all protesters have been cleared from the front by SWAT quite swiftly, and they are now breaking into the front as well as going in from the windows, as we reported before. They are completely flooding the building from all sides.
Yep, thank you, Teddy, for that. I just want to ask, McKenna, do you have a good vantage point? Can you report anything for right now?
Yeah, thank you, Macy. I'm here with Leon, Casey, and Ian right now. And I can report that the SRG unit has now left the West Lawn encampment. My assumption, I don't think they made a single arrest on the West Lawn. I don't think. Sorry, Sarah, do you need to go?
Yes, I'm sorry. They've started tear gassing, is what we've heard.
Okay, once again, to reiterate, we have heard that they've started tear gassing. We'll try to get further confirmation on that. Sarah, can you confirm if they're tear gassing anyone, or is it just inside Hamilton Hall?
I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to get a vantage point.
Come here.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. I can't see right now. I don't see anything. So I would think inside Hamilton Hall. Also, for those of you in the studio, our website has crashed. I don't think anybody can join our stream right now. I believe our website has crashed.
Please, someone start a... Okay, so we're receiving updates that we're having a bit of trouble with our stream. Teddy, who is here in the studio, is going to try to start a live stream on Instagram on WKCR on campus. So you can go to that account. We should have that up shortly. Of course, keep trying this stream. FM should not be having any issues right now. Georgia, or Alec, I'm going to cut to you for a second.
Yeah, thanks. I want to say there is a direct link to download WKCR's live stream directly onto your device. I believe if we haven't publicized that already, we will soon. And so just keep a lookout for that. It'll help keep traffic off our website if you're tuning in. And as always, FM radio is the best way to listen to WKCR.
Okay, thank you for that. Georgia, can I go to you? Georgia, can you hear me? Georgia, can you hear me? All right. Can I get anyone on the field right now, Sawyer or Georgia?
David and I are still outside of campus at 114th in Amsterdam. So no update from us. We're unsure of where to move. We don't want to move further away in case we miss anything. Actually, what I can see right now is that more NYPD are crawling. There's a lot of NYPD crawling into Hamilton on this ladder contraption. This is just the viewpoint we're seeing from 114th in Amsterdam. There's like 10 of them on the ladder right now and more awaiting. That's what I can see right now.
Thank you, Georgia. Sawyer, I'm going to hand it over to you. You said there was an arrest you could see.
Yes, we saw at least one arrested individual come out of Hamilton Hall. Again, I'm still trying to get a vantage point because NYPD has blocked all of the access points to Hamilton Hall. However, I'm seeing actually another. So they are taking arrested individuals from Hamilton Hall, and it seems like they are going towards the 114th John.
Thank you, Sawyer. So I'm getting reports from Teddy now that there may be an unconscious student in front of Hamilton. Do you have any further confirmation of that, Teddy?
Yeah, I have a video from someone in Hartley looking down onto Hamilton, and yes, there's an unconscious student on the ground. They have removed most of the debris and furniture on this side, and there's an unconscious student on their side on the ground in front of Hamilton.
Thank you, Teddy, for that. So once again, we don't know what caused that necessarily. It could have been the police, but we can't confirm it right now. We have also heard that there is tear gas based on what our reporters can smell. It's unclear if that is just inside Hamilton Hall or if that is outside as well. McKenna, do you have a vantage point?
Thank you, Macy. I don't have a vantage point of Hamilton Hall right now. I'm currently standing with a bunch of other student reporters, as well as some administrators from the journalism school outside of Pulitzer Hall. We, as Ian mentioned, we were told several times by NYPD officers to enter a building if we were students. However, there are no buildings for us to enter at all. I think we may have access as student press into Pulitzer, but I cannot confirm that entirely. But we can see some NYPD officers moving up the middle from Butler north on campus. But right now it's incredibly difficult to see. Our access and our mobility is incredibly limited right now.
Great, thank you. Once again, I need to state that we do have a live stream going of our coverage on WKCR_ on campus. Once again, that is WKCR_ on campus, and that is because we are having difficulties with our online stream. I just wanted to pass it over to Sarah now.
There are
unfortunately, we can't hear you. If you could maybe...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was moving. There are a lot of SRG officers right now reporting to Hamilton Hall. I believe most of the SRG officers that were formerly circumferencing West Lawn have now reported to the front of Hamilton Hall. Again, it's hard to say because the vantage points here are not great. As Teddy's saying, in front of Hamilton. There also is just kind of a new wave that we did not previously see. I also received a tip from a source who is on 114th right now that there are more correction buses pulling up. That's my update. Thank you, Macy.
Yes, and we now have a confirmation that there is a fire alarm going off in Hamilton Hall. We are not sure of the cause of that. But yeah, we're also getting pictures of the ladder that police are climbing up to get into the windows of Hamilton. Does anyone else have an update on the ground? Ian, Georgia?
Yeah, I'll go real quick update. Anyone who wants to butt in, they obviously can. I just want to say lots of NYP surrounding the West Lawn. They already went through and pretty much cleared it. As McKenna noticed, we could not see or confirm any arrests being made. As I noted before, police even came on campus. There was virtually no one in the encampment at all. In fact, I think most were stationed either at the Hartley campsite there or at Hamilton Hall. So I see now that there's just a lot of police officers guarding the West Lawn as it stands. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sawyer, I'm going to turn to you if you have any updates. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. There are a number of arrested individuals now coming down what appears to be from Hamilton to around Butler near the Georgia Dillane gates. This is an influx. There were about 3 or 4 that I saw previously, and now there seems to be at least 6 at a time. They're just peeking them in hordes at this point. But otherwise, I think everything is up to date here.
Great, thank you. Georgia, I don't know if you have a vantage point. Can you attest to if there are still bystanders, if anyone that is not involved with the protest has gotten in the way or been hurt?
I'm still outside campus. So far, I can't see any escalation that's taken place out here, specifically where I am at 114th and Broadway. From what I can see, there are people leaving campus. Are they Okay. So David has a vantage point from his camera. People are being are exiting campus in the sort of zip tie handcuffs here. We're seeing a few of them here. I can recognize these people from the barricade. These are individuals who are in front, part of the human barricade outside of Hamilton Hall. They have been escorted here by the police, it seems, outside of campus. I'm unsure why they've just brought them to the end of the barricade here at the street. I'm a little bit confused, but they might be being invited to exit. I'm unsure, but I'll update you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to send it over to Sarah if you have an update, Sarah.
Hi, see, I'm trying to get out of the noise. I'm sorry.
Which are you?
I'm sorry, hold on. Yes, I'm sorry. I had to get out of the noise. Yeah, they are arresting a lot of students. I know that previously we were pretty much unsure of how many students were in Hamilton Hall. I believe now we've maybe seen 20 arrests. I would also like to note that I did see one student being dragged. The student did look very limp. I'm not sure if that was a form of resistance or if that was the student who had passed out. But yeah, the student looked limp. That's all I wanted to note. But that's also speculation that could have been the student with the medical emergency. All right, Macy, back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just wanted to reiterate too that we now have a live stream on our account WKCR_ on campus on Instagram. If the stream online is not working for you, please tune into our live stream WKCR_ on campus to continue our coverage, or tune in on an FM signal. I wanted to ask McKenna, do you have any updates for us?
So sorry about the delay there. I have Ian here with me also to report. I'm gonna let Ian go first.
Just real quick, from our view, we are from Pulitzer Hall. All we can see is flashing lights and lots of noise, screams. What else do you hear, McKenna?
I'm hearing a ton of chants from the outside protesters, I'm assuming. We can also hear the sound before, just a few minutes prior. We heard a lot of banging metal, and I'm assuming that's from the metal furniture that they had barricading them inside Hamilton Hall. I also want to report that we received a few anonymous videos from a resident of Hartley Hall, kind of showing some of the brutal images, and brutal is the only way I can describe what we saw. Images of students being pinned and arrested. We have videos of them. I can send them to you guys for more confirmation. But students being arrested and pinned on the ground, which is a much more a brutal tactic, I think, than when we saw last Thursday on the 8th.
Great, thank you. I'm going to pass it over to Sawyer now.
Yeah, I just want to know, because we've been keeping track of the spectatorship that has been occurring throughout these past 2 weeks. To me, as a reporter that has been here during all the major escalations that have occurred in the past 2 weeks, as well as everyone else on the field, I'm sure this is very eerie, as there are very few, spectators. There's a small chant that is occurring on the outside of Hamilton on College Walk, but otherwise there just is press, student press. But yeah, there's not a ton of spectatorship due to the lockdown on campus.
Thank you. I appreciate that update. Georgia, I noticed you seem to be very close to an officer. Do you have an update by chance, if you can?
Yeah, if anyone has any more pressing updates, you're welcome to interrupt me. I just wanted to mention I was talking a little bit about these folks that I remember seeing at the barricade outside of Hamilton Hall, being sort of led here by NYPD in front of the barricade here at the intersection of 114th and Broadway. From what I see now, they are continuing to hold hands and link arms here, but they have decided to sit. I believe this is something they've decided to do together, sit down in the street here in front of the barricade. So I'm going to try and get a sense for what sort of circumstances led up to them doing this and perhaps why they want to do this. I'm also seeing some men in suits entering the barricades now to supposedly walking towards the John Jay Gates. So that's something we're going to look closer to. I can see this very vaguely through the window, but it does appear that a lot more police are entering the John Jay Gates. So just something to pin if someone can. Okay. Yeah. David has a vantage point here that he can see lots and lots of NYPD entering campus there at John Jay Gates.
Okay, I'm just going to jump on really quick. This is a very important piece of information to know. From our estimates, there were anywhere between 20 and 50 protesters that were inside Hamilton Hall. We still don't have a confirmation number on that, but just to scale for our listeners, the difference between the amount of protesters in Hamilton Hall and the police response we are seeing tonight. This is the most police response we have ever seen on campus. It is nowhere near what we saw during the first arrests. And it appears that people are being caught up in this that are not necessarily protesters. So once again, we'll keep our eyes on that. We have reporters still in the field, but I'll keep you all posted. It just was important to know again that there were between 20 and 50 protesters inside Hamilton Hall, which is completely disproportionate to the police response we are seeing tonight. Does anyone on the field have an update?
I can. I have a quick update
Go ahead,
if
Casey.
it's warranted. It's not about Hamilton Hall, but I did want to note it's now been 20 minutes, or at least, since the New York Police Department was on the West Lawn encampment and cleared it of people, I believe. And we still see, I believe, almost every single tent up here on the West Lawn. All the tents are up. I believe there are no people, and New York Police Department is still very much surrounding the West Lawn. But I did want to note that all the tents are still up, and the lawn seems almost untouched, which is a diversion from what we saw on Thursday. I believe we saw tents going down almost immediately after protesters were arrested.
Great. Thank you. I'm going to send it over to Ale in the studio with an urgent update.
Thank you, Macy. You might have heard us say that we received no presidential email or something like that before. It has officially come in. It is not something that is available currently. Like, the website has just too much traffic, so I can't even view it from my browser. This is from a screenshot from a university administrator. So the headline is Campus Update for April 30th, 2024, 9:26 p.m. Eastern Time. From a university spokesman. A little after 9 p.m. this evening, the NYPD arrived on campus at the university's request. This decision was made to restore safety and order to our community. We regret that protesters have chosen to escalate the situation through their actions. After the university learned overnight that Hamilton Hall had been occupied, vandalized, and blockaded, we were left with no choice. Columbia public safety personnel were forced out of the building, and a member of our facilities team was threatened. We will not risk the safety of our community or the potential for further escalation. The leadership team, including the Board of Trustees, met throughout the night and into the early morning, consulting with security experts and law enforcement to determine the best plan to protect our students and the entire Columbia community. We made the decision early in the morning that this was a law enforcement matter and that the NYPD were best positioned to determine and execute an appropriate response. We believe that the group that broke into and occupied the building is led by individuals who are not affiliated with the university. Sadly, this dangerous decision followed more than a week of what had been productive discussions with representatives of the West Lawn encampment. We severely curtailed the number of people on Morningside campus starting Tuesday morning. Over the course of the day, we updated our community on access to campus buildings and will continue to do so through the next few days. The decision to reach out to the NYPD was in response to the actions of the protesters, not the cause they are championing. We have made it clear that the life of campus cannot be endlessly interrupted by protesters who violate the rules and the law. early Tuesday, protesters chose to escalate to an alarming and untenable situation, including by vandalizing property, breaking doors and windows, blockading entrances, and forcing our facilities and public safety workers out. And we are responding appropriately, as we have long made clear we would. The safety of our community, especially our students, remains our top priority. And before we pass it over to the field again, in fact, unless someone has breaking news, I can do this analysis in a little bit, but 3 things stand out. First is that this language is verbatim lifted from Columbia's press briefing earlier, as well as the language they have been using consistently. The second is that...
I'm so sorry. I do need to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
NYPD corrections bus that is coming down 114th and Broadway, and NYPD is now currently pulling students who are sitting on the ground here at 114th. An NYPD officer just fell. They're pulling students off the ground quite violently, I will add. People are yelling to get their hands off of them, but it does appear that they...
It's important to note again that the student body here at Columbia still has not received any other email aside from the shelter in place. There was no warning of NYPD coming onto campus, and despite shelter in place, we heard accounts of multiple students that were denied entry into buildings because they did not live there.
I just want to confirm that bus was full of protesters. We saw them through the window, and they are driving the bus down Amsterdam. Sorry to interrupt there, but that is the update. It was full of arrested protesters.
Thank you for that confirmation, Georgia. We appreciate it. Does anyone else on the field have any breaking updates? Okay, we are also hearing from our reporters that they are not being allowed near Amsterdam Gate. Public safety is yelling at them and telling them they cannot exit. Go ahead, Sawyer.
Yeah, I just in public safety. It seems like it's admin because they are not just public safety part, though they have the polos. We just asked if we were allowed to exit through the Amsterdam gates, which still appear to
order and ensure encampments are not reestablished. We trust that you will take care and caution when removing any individual from our campus. The safety and security of our community is our highest priority. And I will not go through the rest because it's all about the university's commitment to freedom of expression and, safety and security of the community. And I think the most important place to leave off here is the fact that President Minouche Shafik has called for the NYPD to maintain a presence on campus until May 17th of 2024, 2 days after university commencement. That is unprecedented, and frankly, I have no words.
It is, and we just received that email at 9:53. It just came to the student body, once again, so much later than when NYPD entered campus. I'm going to send it over to Sarah. Sarah, if you're okay, I know it's hard out there, but if you can give us an update.
Yeah, thank you, Macy. I just wanted to report that there are NYPD officers clearing the Hamilton Hall building. They're shining flashlights into each room and they're cutting the banners down. Sorry, hearing that news about the police on campus was difficult to hear, especially, just not somebody who looks forward to having police on campus until I graduate in May. That's all.
Yep. So once again, that was until May 17th, which is well past the current graduation date, that after tonight, NYPD will be allowed to have permanent presence on Columbia's campus for the rest of the year. Thankfully, we have some members of our news team back in the room here, and everyone is safe as far as we know. Does anyone on the field have any updates? Georgia, can I send it to you if you have a second?
Yeah, thank you, Macy. The only update we have here is only that the bus that I reported was going south on Amsterdam actually had to back up and now is going very slowly north, being sort of escorted by the police. I also just want to second Sarah there in that sentiment about hearing that message.
Thank you, Georgia. I just wanted to report on some pictures that we got from our field reporter, David Gonzalez, that picture some very violent arrests happening outside of campus with protesters, or actually it could be passersby. We have no confirmation because, again, it was pretty chaotic, but being
I can confirm it was protesters. It was the same protesters that were lying on the ground, sort of in the way of the buses, but that was the picture of them, the NYPD sort of dragging them away from the scene to clear the way for the bus, which is now backing northbound up. And
thank you. I appreciate that, David. And once again, we still have field reporters out there bringing you live updates. You are listening to WKCR FM New York and WKCR HD. That is 89.9 on your dial, and WKCR.org if you're tuning in online.